I'm not from the government, and I'm here to help. Welcome to the Financial Agitician. I'm your host, All Nighter Hider. And today I went back down to Tijuana, Mexico from San Diego, California, Clownifornia, to go get some dental work. Worked out really great. It was timely manner. It was great. But I did ride the trolley to get down there. I like doing that because I don't want to park my truck somewhere I don't want to leave it. So I go ahead and I hop on the trolley. It's $10 round trip. It's not bad. It kind of saves me on gas, actually. It does take a lot of time, though. And the experience I had while just standing at the trolley was significant. So I'm standing there. I don't read the signs. I don't care about the signs too much. Sometimes I do if I've got the time. If I am just standing there, sometimes I will read the signs. So that's not completely honest there. But I wasn't reading the signs. And what it was is I was moderating for Financial Firefighter. So I'm looking at my phone. I did go and buy a ticket because that's what I do. I go and I purchase tickets for the trolley. I'm not just going to hop on the trolley and get a free ride. So I purchased my ticket, and then I'm waiting for the trolley to come. As I'm doing that, there's a transit security officer walking around, and he's checking for tickets. And he asked me for my ticket, and so I'm like, well, dude, I'm just standing here. I'm not on the trolley. What do you ask me for a ticket for? So then he points up at the sign, and the sign says something about, I'm not going to get it quite right, fair paid zone, or fair paid zone. Fair paid zone, or paid fare zone. I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but it was basically, to stand here, you have to have a ticket. Oh, that's wild. That's wild to me. That's fucking wild. To say that I can't stand on public property. It was owned by the government. Yeah, California government-owned land. Who owns the government? We do. We are the authors of government. We have the authority. They have vested authority, meaning it can be taken. It's been given, it can be taken. So this security officer is trying to tell me, and I'm not trying to bust his balls or anything. He's just a low budget, doesn't have a firearm kind of cop. So I'm not trying to bust his balls. I'm just asking him questions because this is just like, dude, you're being tyrannical, asking me if I have a ticket to stand here. Who the f*** are you? I didn't ask him for his ID, although I should have. I really should have. In fact, I'm going to do that next time I go down there. But again, I'm going to be, apologetically, this is just procedure. Hey, you're asking me for something? I'm going to ask you for your something. Equity law, baby. So they're telling me I have to have a ticket to stand there in this zone. So I start looking around. I'm in law. I'm not in law, but I study law. I know a bunch of stuff about law. I'm just tripping over my words. Words are hard. And I'm looking around, and there is no distinguishment to this zone. It just says this is a paid fare zone. Well, where does this zone begin and where does it end? That has to be established. These borders need to be visibly established. There can't be any ambiguity where, oh yeah, I'm standing here and I require a ticket to stand here, which is pure bullshit anyways. Then I step back and I'm still required, and I step back, I'm still required, and I step back and I'm still required. Where is the line? There is no line because it hasn't been drawn. The line needs to be drawn. There was no zone. And I asked one of the workers about this, and she said, oh, it's just MTS property. Well, that's got to be shown. That's got to be visibly shown. This kind of takes me to private land. Now, if you're in some wild backcountry hunt, I don't expect every private landowner to put a fence up or even put stakes in the ground or run chalk lines or some crazy shit. No, that's absurd. But in the city, if you're going to enforce that I have to do something within a certain zone, that zone needs to be established. visibly. If a private landowner is going to, uh, well, that gets gray because there's Onyx Hunt. So if you have accessibility to Onyx Hunt, which everyone does, most everyone does, if you got a cell phone, you can, then you can get the same maps that everyone else uses that is supposed to show the same borders everywhere. But if it's not visible, how am I supposed to know? It took me reading the sign to see that this is a paid fare zone. So if you're going to show me in a sign this information, the rest of the information needs to be made available, not just this arbitrary zone. So the government is begging for accountability, absolutely begging for it. So I am actually going to write MTS. There's another thing. Government really sucks. They really suck. Not they, but the system sucks. To communicate with, say, the IRS, one cannot just write a letter on a letterhead, even an attorney's letterhead, and just send it to the IRS and expect them to read it. They're a government agency. They have protocols. So to contact the IRS, you actually have to get a form from the IRS. Insanity. Insanity. You have to get permission from the IRS to speak to the IRS, even though the IRS is technically a form of government and we have the authority. It's just, the feudal system is wild. And I see in the comments all the time, people are just, they're drunk on Stockholm syndrome. They hate the feudal system and they complain about it, but yet they will take and call people out on it. Like, you're Guy Watch, Dan Staten. I love you, dude. I love you. You're awesome. But he'll complain about somebody doing something that's against government regulations. It's like, dude, you can't do that. They should have their liberty to be able to do that as long as they're being responsible with it. If someone's just being a jack off, then they should get their ass beat. What is it? Potlucks. Societal potlucks. Everybody comes out and beats the crap out of somebody that tries to steal something. I see it on Active Self-Protection all the time. It's a channel I watch. Closed circuit TVs, and they show real life incidences of defensive uses of weapons and things. Anyways, I'm just rambling on now. We're getting close to 8 minutes. I better shut this one down. But I needed to film something. What I'm doing, I just got back from TJ. Like I said, got my dental work done. Still need to go back down there and get my permanent crowns. I'm headed to Arizona again tomorrow, along with some of my registration paperwork that's over there out of reach. I'm going to be taking both my truck registrations out there to Arizona, getting those taken care of, coming right back, maybe doing a little bit of work on the property out there, coming right back, packing, and flying out to Gary for 10 days. So lots of travel. I'm a traveling man. It's crazy. Anyways, that's it. I'm going to call it at that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with me. Invest accordingly.